Hey, it's Britta here. I'm aligned and undefined. If you're new here, I channel the collective energies from the Akashic Records, our collective energetic library, weekly as well as monthly to support us in making more grounded, empowered decisions as we move through our lives. This is the weekly energetic update for January 19th to the 25th. I'm going to close my eyes, go to the Akashic Records to see what the records have to say for us. As always, this is collective energy. So if you do not personally resonate with this, that's okay. I invite you to take what resonates and leave the rest. And I also invite you to look around and see what's going on around you in your communities, in your family, even in the news, collectively, like the collective big picture, because this is collective energy. So it might resonate with you, it might not. Let's see what the records have to say for this week of January 19th to 25th, 2026. All right. The Akashic records for the collective consciousness are now open, calling in all of our angels, guides, ancestors, and anyone else for our highest, truest, and gentlest good only. So as I was opening the records, okay, first of all, records just wanting to know we are channeling, coming in, asking about the energy specifically of January. Oh my gosh, what is happening? January 19th to 25th, 2026. What do we need to know as a collective to support us in this? And as I was opening the records, I felt like this heaviness in my heart space. And then it like was moving up into my throat space. And I feel like I'm like on the verge of a burp, but it's not, it hasn't happened. So there might be a burp coming. But there has been this theme throughout this whole month. I channeled it for the January update as well. I'm starting to speak our truth more. There's also a new moon in Capricorn uh, on the Sunday, the 18th, which is the day before the energy update for this week starts. But the energy kind of bleeds into each other. Um, the energies of these weeks kind of bleed into each other, and it's not like one week is done and then the energy update for the next week is like completely different. The energy shifts and changes. And so the energy of this new moon is really impactful because it is the first new moon of the year. I'm just like having a really like there is just some sort of movement happening in my throat space and my heart space. I'm trying to figure out what it is. And I know it's related to this update. Um, we do have the first new moon of the year right before this week starts. What is happening? It's so weird. In Capricorn. And so new moons are new beginnings because this is the first new moon of the year. It is a super potent new moon. We also have our human design new year coming up within the next week, um, which is another kind of new beginning. So the first couple, and I've said this, the records have said this again and again over the past few weeks, the first couple weeks of the year are really a kind of a transition phase. And we have these markers throughout the first 2 months of the year that really influence the movement of the year. So we have this first new moon coming up right before this week starts, which is a marker. We have the human design new year coming up in the next week, which is a marker. We have Chinese New Year coming up in February, which is a marker. The spring equinox in March is a marker. All of these are markers that really help get the year started, like moving at a more at speed. At like each of these markers is kind of a pickup moment for the year. So we have two of these markers influencing the energy of this week. And so there is going to be this invitation this week to start moving more quickly. If things have seemed stalled in the first couple of weeks of January, if things have seemed like they haven't been progressing, regardless of what area of your life you're thinking of, depending on what your focus is right now, on where you're trying to grow, what you're trying to manifest, you might be focusing on it. Everyone watching this is going to be focusing on a different area, but collectively, if things have felt like they've been stuck or stagnant, even as you've been speaking your truth, which many of you have been, because that's been in the collective energy since the beginning of the month, you're going to start to see that things are going to start moving more quickly. Where maybe you spoke your truth about something a few weeks ago and nothing seemed to come of it, know that the energy has been shifting and changing since that moment. And you are going to start seeing things moving as a result of something you said a few weeks ago now. And I also am just picking up on, I think a part of this heart, like there's just so much heart energy going on. And so there's two meanings that I'm interpreting right now. The first meaning is that to allow movement, you do need to open your heart. So if there's something that you want to see moving, you need to make sure that your heart is ready for that movement because we are our own worst enemies and we stop our own progress more often than other people do. We might blame other people because it's easier than looking inward. But if you really want to see progress, you do need to open your heart. And so if there's any lingering art closures, anything lingering that is keeping your heart closed from seeing movement, this movement that we were talking about this week, it's time to let it go. Particularly at this new moon in Capricorn, it's time to let it go. And that doesn't mean letting everything go. Like we said, we've been saying this all month. This is only January. This is only the beginning of the month. And so, the beginning of the year. And so, when we talk about movement, we're not saying that everything is going to change overnight. It might for some of you. You might, if you've been working on something for a long time, you may see rapid change, but that is only one moment of rapid change in a whole year that is inviting in rapid change. And so, as you see this movement, also give yourself time to rest and integrate because rapid change can be very dysregulating to the nervous system, especially if you're not used to it. So, there is time for rapid movement, but we also want to make sure that we give ourselves space to integrate that change, which is also where that heart releasing comes in, heart opening comes in, heart healing comes in. So there's a space and time for rapid movement, but also make sure that you are taking time for yourself as well, in whatever way that looks like, because that's going to look different. For some of you, taking time for yourself is very introverted. Others of you, taking time for yourself is being in good company. And for most of you watching this, it's a combination of both. But make sure you're nourishing yourself during this process. Whatever the process is for you, it's going to be very different for everyone. The other heart thing that's coming to me, and this is a second interpretation, is that there's just a lot of heaviness in the collective right now. I am channeling this from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And so if you've been watching the news, there's a lot of heaviness in this area right now. Um, and if you're not in this area, but you're watching the news, you're probably, there's just a lot going on in the world. And all that's going on in the world is also causing a collective heart opening as we really start to find out, as we really start to get crystal clear on our values and what is important to us and what we want to invest our time in and the causes that we care about. And so this heart opening isn't just influencing your choices that you're making in your individual life, it's also influencing activism efforts where you want to be giving your time and money to, and how you want to support others who are in need. And through all of it, whether it's personal or collective, for many of you, it's a combination of both. As you open your heart to allow more movement in, be gentle, because these are wild times that we're living in. And at every intentional step that we take in these times is causing ripples, is allowing for ripples. Change isn't going to happen overnight, but every step that you take as an individual does matter. So move, be ready to move, be ready to take action. This week specifically, it is one of those points in the new year that is allowing for things to speed up. But also be kind and gentle to your heart and allow yourself space to retreat as well. That is all. That is all. That is all. See you next week. Oh, the Akashic records are now closed. I hope you found this message valuable. If you did, I would love to hear in the comments below. If you want to hear more of these and stay up to date with my weekly and monthly updates, please like and subscribe as well. Bye-bye.